Ladies and gentlemen, the beat goes on.
Turn it up.
What you're about to hear may cause your speakers to explode.
Grant's Rock Warehouse is keeping it real in the feed.
Get ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and we're back doing another episode in our Gary Moore series. We are on episode 3. BM Boldt is back, and we are looking at the years 1978 to 1980, maybe a little of 1981. We're keeping it loose here, kids. We want to hear from you in the chat. What records do you like, and what do you think of the Gary Moore catalog? Let us know. Let's do
Serving up riffs hotter than Hellfire Chili with a beer chaser. Grant's Rock Warehouse.
What happened? It just stopped. It's still playing, but it's not playing. What the hell happened? I heard something go pop.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Your amp.
Oh, no. What the hell? Sorry, everybody. Let me hear it something else. It's up. So bizarre. What a way to start the damn show. I heard something pop, and then it just stopped.
It's just all downhill from here.
I don't know why it stopped. Oh, well, anyway. Hey, welcome, everybody. We're going to edit those songs out anyway for the archived show, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, I want to welcome everybody here. Sorry we're late, but, you know, sometimes other gigs go a bit long. Bob, it is. It's too hot for the house. Did you hear a pop or something when it stopped?
It stopped. I didn't hear anything pop.
No, I heard something went pop, but everything is still working. I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. Michael, how's it going? Oh, look, Steve is a Gary Moore freak. I have to go back and listen to the episode from yesterday. Or from... Oh, well, no, it wasn't from yesterday, but that was a clip from that.
Yeah.
There, if you go down in the archives, it is down there. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. Well, you know, you do these live shows. We do the best that we can, but sometimes you do have technical problems. So I appreciate your lights are still on. That's what I kind of looked. I looked at the lights pop off. That's what it kind of reminded me of. All right, well, let's start out. We're going to start out. Gary Moore, Hurricane was the track we just listened to. Back on the Streets from 1978. This was Gary Moore's breakthrough solo album after his time with Thin Lizzy. And, well, his earlier band efforts like Great.
Yeah, same time as that, really.
Okay. All right. Well, whatever. But it's his first real solo album. Let's say that. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the Gary Moore band was kind of a solo album, but he was called a band.
Yeah. All right.
Well, this is considered the start of his solo career.
Correct. That's what I mean. Yeah. But you do have some Thin Lizzy connection on here, though.
Right.
Phil and Brian guest on like 4 tracks.
Yeah. Really, this is like 2 albums. And from what I had read, he was kind of, I think he started out trying to do a Coliseum 2 style album since he had just got out of that.
Well, it sounds like
and
it.
I think he only did a few songs, and then the whole Thin Lizzy thing. Okay, in 78, he was so busy and he was working on so much stuff with Thin Lizzy and other people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he did some stuff with Brian Downey and Phil Lynott that ended up on here. So, like, half of it's stuff with them and half of it's kind of Coliseum 2-ish with John Mole on bass from Coliseum 2, Don Airy again, and then Simon Phillips. And I'm hearing that myself echo. I don't know if you hear
it. Oh, here, I can fix that for you.
But, it was recorded in the spring of 78. Released in the UK in September of 78. There's a US version, which is up here. I showed it's this has Phil Lynott singing a little bit. He doesn't sing on the American version, because the American version came out August of '79 after he'd left Thin Lizzy. He left, I think, Thin Lizzy in July of '79 or June maybe. So they removed the Phil stuff, I guess. I don't know exactly. But when it's my understanding, he was on tour with Thin Lizzy when this was first released, though, in Europe, and then, at some point, he quit the band because he just was always quitting Thin Lizzy and coming back, but I mean, you've got the title track, which a lot of people might know that, Back on the Streets. There's Song for Donna, which is it's a similar thing as the Coliseum 2 vocal. It's a vocal track similar to the Coliseum 2 vocal tracks that he sang on. It's okay. What would you rather be or a wasp? That's a Coliseum style instrumental. Fanatical Fascist. That's a Phil Lynott song. So it's like more of a rock track with Gary singing. Spanish Guitar is a bonus track. It wasn't on the original vinyl. It's very similar to Parisian Walkways, but with more of a Spanish flair as opposed to that kind of French flair that it had. This is a 45 of it. It's got an instrumental version on the B-side. Gary sings this, but there's also a version with Phil singing out there. I think, Grant, you've got to see. Did you get the CD and it has a bunch of bonus tracks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This?
Mine doesn't have all those extra bonus tracks.
I've got all the bonus tracks.
Let me finish this, and then we can talk about some of the bonus tracks. There's Don't Believe a Word's on here. That's a Thin Lizzy song, but Gary did it in a real slow Peter Green style. Fly to the Snow Moose is another Coliseum 2 style instrumental. Hurricane, which we played, and then Parisian Walkways, which many of you have probably already heard. There was a B-side for, I think, I don't know what it was, if it was for Parisian Walkways or maybe Back on the Streets, and it's called Track 9, which I think Grant's got that on his CD.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I had written that down. Okay,
probably should have played something from this.
Well, there's two.
I have it on here.
Well, we played. We did play the Hurricane, but then there's two other tracks that were demos called Road of Pain and Track 10, which I have those. I don't know if those are on your CD though. I've got like on my hard drive. But it's a really good album.
Yeah, it's a good record. I did look it up, and there seems to be a little bit of I don't know. It's very complicated about his tenure within Thin Lizzy, but there was an official announcement made on July 1979 that he was replaced by Midge Ure.
Yes.
So I think it came before that, but it's not.
Yeah. It was
really,
like a week or two before that.
Yeah. Evidently, he quit mid. Okay, yeah, he quit mid-tour during the promotion for Black Rose in July of '79. Okay.
And the Back on the Streets had already been released in Europe. It didn't get released in the U.S. till after he had quit Thin Lizzy. And then they scrubbed all Phil's vocals off the American release. So
bastards.
That's how it worked.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. So go ahead. You have something to say?
No, I was moving that. I got a big stack of stuff here, so I'm moving that to the side.
Right.
Cool. I would probably give this album a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like clunker really on it to me is Song for Donna, and I don't hate it, but
yeah, because I think this record's a good mix of hard rock and fusion. Clocks in at 37 minutes. I prefer.
It's like 2 different albums, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't mind it. It just shows how much talent he can play anything.
Yeah.
I will want to say this did not do very well in the UK. It only peaked at like number 70. And I don't know, maybe it was that transition to him being a solo artist. I don't know. Did this get any kind of push from Jet? I don't know.
The single Parisian Walkways, I think, came out before that, and that did pretty well. And Gary wrote the music for it, and Phil wrote the lyrics. And I think the original single was Phil singing it.
Yeah.
And then they put the Gary vocals on the American vinyl, of course. But that song did pretty well.
I will say this. If you like exceptional guitar work, like we just listened to that opening track, kind of reminded me a bit of Jeff Beck. I mean, the guitar solos on here will just tear your face off. I just think that Gary Moore, at least on this record, I mean, we're going to look at these other records, but this one, from a guitar standpoint, I think this record is a must. The other thing I wanted to mention, like the unreleased tracks, Road of Pain and track 10 that came from these sessions, those are unreleased tracks.
Correct. Those aren't on your CD, right?
Huh?
Are those on your CD or not?
Yeah.
Okay. I did not know that for sure.
Anyway, if those would have made the cut, I can't even imagine why those did not make the cut.
Lack of room.
I guess lack of room. This thing could have been a 2-record set, Byron. Anyway,
I think Pain is a vocal track, but the track 10 is once again another instrumental. So yeah, I mean, he had almost an album's worth of instrumental stuff.
Well, maybe you don't need all that many instrumentals.
No.
I don't know. All I'm saying is I like this record. I'd give it a 9, and I had not heard this record until we got ready for this show. So based on that, I'm with you, Byron. I would give this a 9. So anybody in the chat, are you aware of this record? I mean, I'll start taking some ratings if people have heard it. I don't know how many people have heard this era, though.
I think more people have heard this. Well, way more people have heard this than they heard Grinding Stone.
Or probably G-Force.
Yeah.
I don't know. No one's really saying anything, so maybe it's something new to everybody.
So yeah, really what we're talking about tonight is...
Okay, Bob gave it a 9. All right, so we've got 3 9s.
So really we're covering Gary's Jet era records tonight, which I think were on MCA in other countries, because like my Japanese ones are all on MCA. But,
yeah, all these that we're looking at are on Jet. Well, in the UK.
The West Coast Dave's asking about Ozzy and Gary Moore. I think there was talk about maybe Gary being in. Well, I should back that up, because if you go watch our G-Force episode, I cover it in excruciating detail how when Ozzy was trying to build a band, G-Force was basically backing him while they were trying to put a band together. Mm-hmm. They would audition different musicians, and then Ozzy moved back to London and then left G-Force in California. But Ozzy and Gary did work again in the future at some times. So no, so I don't know that Gary was ever going to possibly be in the band. Maybe. I don't know if they just didn't ask him or if he didn't really want to do it. I don't think he really wanted to do that, because I think he was getting sick of he wanted his own band. Mm-hmm. That's the way I envision things. But,
right.
I'm going to go on a quick detour, everybody.
Oh, please do, Byron. We know how this
things real quick.
Go ahead.
This is just a compilation of the stuff from Coliseum 2. Let me see. It's got Parisian Walkways though. It's basically some Coliseum 2 stuff and some Back on the Street stuff. This is Japanese only. I think it's on MCA. Okay, and then this album was brought up on the last episode a few times by people. This is Gary Boyle. It's called Electric Glide. Gary Moore plays on 2 tracks on here. Gary Moore, I believe, is a way better player than Gary Boyle. I mean, in my opinion, at least. This is jazz rock, kind of like Blow by Blow. So, yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, you might like that album. Like I said, the Gary's tracks stand out the most. This is an album called by Jack Lancaster called Skin and Grove Bay. Gary plays, I think.
Rod Argent.
Rod's on this, I
Phil
believe.
Collins. Who else? Show the bottom of that. Show the bottom. It lists everybody that's on it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So there you go. Rod Argent, Clyde Bunker, Phil Collins. He worked with these guys quite a bit back then. The Rod Argents, the Robin Lumleys, Phil Collins. It's not a great album, in my opinion. And the one, I think Gary's only on maybe one track, and it's just kind of an acoustic track. I got Rod Argent, Moving Home. He plays, I think, on a couple tracks on here, but pretty much it's mostly like acoustic stuff.
I have never seen that record.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't think it's the greatest.
Where does that fit in? Wait a minute. Where does that album fit in the whole scheme of Argent and Zombies? What year was that?
78.
Okay, so
well, like I said, he was
Argent
doing
was over.
Argent was, I think, over by this point.
Okay.
Okay, and remember, Thin Lizzy's going on at this point too. I might be getting a little bit off track, but
we're fine.
Yeah, okay. Let's get back to it. I'm going to talk a little bit about Thin Lizzy here because like you said, he was in Thin Lizzy when he was doing Back on the Streets and all this, and then they recorded Black Rose, which came out in April of '79. Most of you have probably heard this. It's my Japanese CD.
Oh, of course it is.
Going over that.
Look at you.
We're not really talking.
Show me the CD.
We're not
Show me the
really
CD.
Talk much Thin Lizzy tonight because that's for the future if we ever do a Thin Lizzy show. Everybody knows about Thin Lizzy anyway.
Oh yeah, that Vertigo label.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I recommend it. I don't own it. Get the deluxe version. It's a 2-disc set. There's so much bonus material on that because they were recording so much stuff back in those days. You really need to check out that the deluxe edition with all the bonus tracks. There's a track on there called Night in the Life of a Blues Singer, which is a great song. But then, like we said, Gary quits in July of '79. And during that time, he records on this album by Cozy Powell.
Oh, yeah.
Over the Top. And he does one song on here called Killer. We played it on, I think, our instrumental guitar.
We did.
Listening party a year or two ago, and it just shreds, man. It's a Coliseum 2 style.
That was good.
It just blows everything out of the water, man. It's just awesome. It's got a blues feel to it. You got Jack Bruce on that track and Don Airey and Cozy, of course. Apparently, that lineup wanted to go on tour, but Jet would not give Gary the financial backing to tour with that lineup. Could you imagine seeing those four together on a tour?
I can.
So one other quick one. I think we'll get back into it. He played on this Still Line Out solo album, a song called Jamaican Rum, and Gary's doing like some Spanish style guitar on it. I think that's the only track on here he plays on.
I've never heard that either.
It's a pretty good album. So,
all right. G-Force. Let me bring up the graphic. Oh, I don't think I made a G-Force graphic.
Well, we weren't going to talk a lot about it either because we've already done a one and done. And
we already did a G-Force show, but go ahead and talk about it a bit and then.
So, my notes say see the one and done and the one band, one artist show that Grant did. So, we've got Gary on guitar, of course. We got I'm trying to go Willie D on vocals, Tony Newton on bass, and
Mark Nasseroff.
Drums is Mark Nassif. Yes.
Nassif.
I'm losing it here, man.
It's all right.
Basically, to me, this is kind of power pop. But it rocks a lot. It's power pop that rocks real hard.
It seems more like it doesn't seem like power pop. It seems more like hard rock AOR is what I would say. It's not power pop.
Yeah, they're trying to be very commercial though at times.
It is them trying to make it
too hard, maybe.
Too hard. I don't. It's not a bad record, but when I listen to it, it feels like they're really trying really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, and the lyrics are pretty bad. Gary's got that insane guitar tone on it, which you've discussed.
It is him running through the board.
Yep.
He is not running through a guitar amp. He is plugging straight into the recording console, much like the Beatles did when they did Revolution. And you get that real buzzy sound. It's a very strange guitar sound, but whatever.
So yeah, they recorded that album, and they only did about a dozen shows in Europe, opening for Whitesnake, and then they just fell apart because they weren't getting any financial backing from Jet Records. And then that was it. So
it's very crispy metallic. It's
so
not warm.
If you want to know more about G-Force, go back and watch that episode. We
already spent a whole album. It's not a bad record by any means, but it is. Well,
I gave it an 8 back when we did the show.
What would you give it now? Would you have changed it?
Well, I might have gone a little lower, but I'm not. I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with my 8.
All right. Shall we go to the next record?
Yes, Live at the Marquee, right?
Live at the Marquee. There we go. This record, well, this was recorded in 1980. So if you people are going, what are you doing? This came out in 83, but we're trying to go through the records, how they were recorded. So this was correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, this was a live set from 2 nights at the Marquee Club, November of 80.
Yep.
And I think this was also released in Japan as live in 1983 on Jet. And then it was later reissued live at the Marquee.
Yes.
His catalog is
with a different cover.
With a different cover.
Yep.
But this has Back on the Streets material. It's got G-Force material. In fact, the track we're going to play tonight is from G-Force.
We are going to play a G-Force track.
Yeah.
But this was recorded, like I said, in November of 80, and G-Force broke up, I think, in July of 80. And in some ways, this is kind of like a G-Force tour with different guys in the band, because they're doing some G-Force material, some Gary material, but a few new tracks, which will be on Dirty Fingers. And then one track called Dallas Warhead, which features the drum solo by Tommy Aldridge. And it's very similar to the song Hammerhead that he did when he was in Pat Travers' band. Let me see. So we mentioned Tommy Aldridge. Kenny Driscoll's on vocals on this. He sound too bad.
If you guys know, I have done a show on Lone Star, and he's the ex-vocalist. Well, he used to be in Lone Star. Phenomenal. Yeah, Don Airy, Andy Powell.
Don Airy, like you said, on keys. So we get some Don here, which is pretty kick-ass, because he brings his thing to the show here, kind of spices it up a little bit. Andy Powell on bass. And like I said, they only did a few dates. And Gary did not want this released. He didn't like the way it sounded and how it was produced. And it was more of a case where after the fact, when Gary started getting a little success with like Corridors of Power, Jet was like, well, shit, we got these Gary Moore tapes. Let's release some of them. So they released it. It's also got a really good instrumental version of Parisian Walkways on it. So
I'm just wondering, you think he disliked it because it was at the Marquee? Yes, it's live, but when you listen to it, and we're going to listen to a track here in a minute, you feel like you're in the room. You think he wanted something maybe that would sound more robust? I don't know what he really disliked about it, but I like it because you do feel like you're right there with them.
I think it's pretty good. I think he was a perfectionist, and he just wanted to move on, maybe with whatever else he had going on. But all
right, let's play it.
Yeah, we'll play "Dancing" off the G-Force album, and then we'll come back and talk some more about some of the tracks.
Well, we'll play it off live at the Marquee.
Right? Yes, that's what I meant. It's a G-Force song, but we're playing it off of this live album.
Now, pray it doesn't quit in the middle. I don't care if it quits in the middle on these shows, but man, if this thing would quit in the middle of a listening party, I would be screwed. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Gary Moore, "Dancing," live from the Marquee. 1980, released on Jet in 1983. Here we go. My goodness.
Yes.
Gee, many Christmas. I think I might prefer the live version.
Well, I'm sitting there listening to it and I'm thinking, I like him singing way better than I liked Willie D singing in G-Force.
Mm-hmm. I don't mind because I don't know. The Lone Star stuff's fine. I don't know. It's two different. I like the Lone. Well, I think I do like this better.
He's got more range, I think, than Willie D. Willie
I think
D was
that's
more
probably
of a
what it is.
Lower voice, soulful kind of guy.
Yeah. But the Lone Star stuff's great, so I'm good with this. This is perfect. So what does everybody else think of this track in the chat? I think Star enjoyed it. And the Star's happy, I'm happy.
I don't think the G-Force had all the keyboards. There wasn't a keyboardist in that band. They might have had some keyboards on the album, but I don't think Dancing had nearly as much stuff going on, because Don's on there doing all kinds of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This thing starts off with Back on the Streets, which, and then Run to Your Mama, which is going to be on the Dirty Fingers album. Dancing, we heard She's Got You, which is on the G-Force album, which is really good on here. There's a great instrumental version of Parisian Walkways. You, which I think was the first track on G-Force. Nuclear Attack is on here. Okay. Now that's on the Dirty Fingers album. It's also on the first Greg Lake album, which our next episode, we're going to cover the Greg Lake period. So we will definitely play Nuclear Attack on that episode.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
And like I said, it ends with Dallas Warhead, which is pretty damn long. I think it's like 8 or 9 minutes, isn't it? And it's it's just it's an instrumental track which features a long drum solo by Tommy Aldridge. So I guess it's similar to Hammerhead. So I'd give this album an 8 as well.
I think
it's
for a live record. I think for a live record, it's solid. I think it captures Gary at a time. Well, for one, he's playing in a small club. It's like a time capsule, and the band is kick ass. And of course, we've already went over who's in the band. For as many times as this has been released, I don't think there's been any bonus tracks ever released on any of the remasters of this.
No, they must have had some songs in the vault.
I would think.
They probably taped the whole shows. And
I think I'd be happy with it. I think I'd give this an 8. I think I'd be happy with that. But like I said, it feels like you're in the room. The only thing I disliked about it, sometimes the cymbal sounds now, is that the recording or is that the mastering? They seem kind of sizzly sounding. Not quite, but it's a live record. Just saying. It's fine. I think it's fine. It's well worth it. But Sydney coming to Tommy destroying his drums. Exactly. Whew. I don't know if I've ever really heard Tommy Aldridge quite like this. Like, man, just freaking precision. Yes, it's true. Only Webb hits his drums harder. Keith Moon, look out. Because Webb's in the house.
Cozy hit him real hard, too.
Very raw energy, solid 8. Yeah, all these records are going to get high scores. Hell, I'm not going to bring out the rating system for these. An 8 seems like the number to choose. Tommy kills it on Pat Travers Live, according to Webb. Webb knows every time that Tommy kills. So
this was probably right after he left Pat Travers, I would think. Because I think he left him after the live album, was it? Or maybe I don't know if he was on.
The problem is that Gary Moore just bounced around.
Well, yeah, but Tommy Aldridge was on Tommy. He bounced around a lot too. So
yeah. So well, once he got out of Jim Dandy's band, he's a free agent.
Yeah, I think from there he went straight to Pat Travers, right? And then from Pat Travers, he went here, and then I think from here he went to Ozzy.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing up Ozzy again.
Anyway, I like this record. I'd give it an 8. Byron gives it an 8. Everybody's giving it an 8. All right. Shall we go to Dirty Fingers? Is that where you want to go next?
Yes, we're going to talk Dirty Fingers. Let's talk about it a little bit, and then we'll play a track.
Okay. Go ahead.
You want to play the song first, whatever you want to do.
I don't care. Do we want to yap or do we want to play a track?
What's
everybody want to do?
We'll give it a little overview of it real quick, and then we can talk about the track after that.
Take it away. Go ahead.
Yeah, this was recorded January through February of '81, and it was wasn't released, like I said, until July of '83 after they sat on it for over 2 years. Tommy Aldridge on drums, Jimmy Bain and Andy Powell on bass. Don't know which track. There's no credits on who plays on what. Don Airey on keys. Charlie Hunn's on vocals. Or
Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent. Now I think he's been in Fog. Isn't he Foghat now? I think he's.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's Foghat now. I've been there for quite a while. I think I prefer Kenny Driscoll's vocals though. Comparing the tracks that are on here with what's on the live one, but whatever. Gary didn't want to release this again, just like the live one. So he didn't like the way it was mixed, whatever. I think it's pretty heavy at times, but there's a couple of clunkers on this album. So
no.
Play something if you want, or you can talk.
No, let's play something.
We're going to play the first track, Hiroshima.
I did some checking and you were correct. Charlie is in Foghat.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, so let's play some Dirty Fingers. Once I find the right thing, let's turn this off.
John the Music Nut knows.
John the Music Nut knows everything. All right, here we go. We're going to play Hiroshima, Dirty Fingers. And this was recorded, this was 1980, right?
81.
Correct?
Early
81. Early 81. All right. It's so complicated. All right, here we go.
Smokes.
Man,
turn it on.
I know. When you listen to that with headphones, it just about peels your ears off. Jesus. My God. I just had an ear seizure. That what can you say? Yeah, I think Byron and I talked about that.
Yeah, we might have to do
I don't know if I can handle it. God, my God. Well, the thing
he does so much stuff, you couldn't do it all in one episode, really, though. There's so many periods that he, we can try at some point. Yeah.
Let me, if I got the everything in order, I can hardly keep track of what he's doing. This was much rawer than G-Force.
Yeah.
So this was recorded prior to G-Force?
No, after.
Okay.
So
why was this record delayed?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this came out in 83, right?
Correct.
Recorded in 81. Okay,
Early
the
81.
question, my question is, this is much rawer than G-Force. G-Force is very commercial. I don't know the answer. Why was this delayed to 83?
Well, I think they'd signed him to a contract, right? Probably for like 4 records or whatever the hell it was. Back on the Streets, G-Force, this and the live album. But I think that they didn't G-Force didn't do anything. And I think they recorded this and I don't think they liked it.
Well,
so they sat on it.
To put it out? So the Jet sat on it.
Jet sat on it. I think they didn't think it would sell. But then when he made Corridors of Power, that sold. And then they started releasing this and Live at the Marquee.
Okay, so that's what it was.
They had 2 more albums, I think, in the deal. And
I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep track of his career in the order of this stuff, but it's very hard because things being shelved, things were being recorded. Now, the reason I asked whether this was recorded before G-Force, because I could see it would make sense for me that this was recorded prior to G-Force, and the record company, they delivered it to the record company. The record company would go, this is raw. This is really not what we want. And they would shelve it, and then they would record G-Force. So that's in my monkey brain. That's what I was thinking, but that's what it made sense.
Yeah. I mean, so the G-Force was I think we'd said it was kind of him trying to be like a Van Halen kind of thing. And it didn't do, it didn't do anything. That they broke up in the summer of 80. In the fall of 80, he recorded that live album with Kenny Driscoll. They didn't release it. Then in January and February of 81, when they recorded this. Like you said, they sat on it for 2.5 years. I think maybe Gary here was thinking, Gary was always like a step behind in a lot of ways, what he wanted to do.
Think about this.
And I think he wanted to kind of get into the new wave of British heavy metal maybe on this album.
Well, how do you figure when you listen to this? How do you figure it plays into that? Do you listen to this and you think it's too late?
Well, it's like he did.
It sounds like Iron Maiden to me.
Well, like the jazz fusion thing, he was a little late to that party. He was a little late to the grinding zone. He was a little late to that Allman Brothers thing he had going on. Right. Here, I think he was like, hey, new wave of British heavy metal was really taking off. I think he's thinking, hey, let me jump on some of that. And
I just don't think
there's some not heavy songs on here though, but I think that's maybe what he was doing.
Maybe. I don't think he could ever figure out what he wanted to do. He seemed like to be one of those artists, one of those players. This is just my interpretation, and you could tell me I'm wrong. It seems like he was so talented that he could play anything. And I don't know if he could ever, to me, it sounds like he could never narrow it down. It just seemed like he would jump on one thing to another. Now, I would think for a solo career, for him to be all over the place. Look at Todd Rundgren, same kind of things, all over the place for his solo catalog. Most artists kind of hit one thing and do that, but Gary Moore's all over the place. I guess, I don't know. I think it would be hard for Jet to market him, I think, I don't know. Yeah, I could be full of shit.
He didn't seem to have a lot of confidence in his vocals still. He did quite he did a lot of singing on prior, like Back on the Streets, but he didn't want to sing on G-Force really. He needed another singer with him. He doesn't sing much on this song. I don't think he might sing 1 or 2 songs on here, but I don't remember. But he's just not confident in his vocals, and he's still going to hire another guy after this. And then he finally just says, "Screw it. I'm just going to sing it on my own." But so yeah, the first track on here is Hiroshima. We already heard that. Then there's a guitar solo, which smokes. It's called "Dirty Fingers," the title track, and that jumps right into "Bad News," which is a pretty good rocking tune. He does a cover of "Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood," which is pretty decent.
Yeah.
"Run to Your Mama" is another strong track on here, I think. "Nuclear Attack," which we will be playing on the next show. "Kidnapped," I don't like that at all. It's just cheesy. I had read that Charlie Hunn actually wrote that, but for some reason Gary gets the writing credit. It's a real poppy song. It would have gone well on G-Force, I think.
Byron, based on my research right now, the only thing that Gary's doing on this is backgrounds.
Yeah.
It's all Charlie on the
I didn't think
vocals.
He did any lead singing on this.
Yeah.
Really Gonna Rock's a real fast rocking tune. It's pretty damn good. "Lonely Nights" is another song that probably could have been on G-Force. "Rest in Peace" is it's a 6-minute ballad basically, but it's kind of a downer. It's about somebody dying. It's got some pretty good guitar work in it, but it's just a real slow ballad. But it's a solid album. It's like I said, "Kidnapped" and "Rest in Peace" are
Would you find that that's got too many different styles on it? Do you think that's a problem?
I don't think there's that many styles on it compared to like some of the other albums. It's about par for the course.
Yeah, because if you look at the ones we've already covered, you're sitting there and going, how is this on this record? I guess he's getting better, but I don't know. I just don't think that helped his career.
I just think that he didn't want this released. Maybe he didn't like all the tracks on here. Like I said, there's a couple that I could take or leave. The production is all right. Chris Sangiorides produced it. We didn't mention that yet. But I don't know. I like it, but at the same time, there's some things I don't like about it. I wrote a 7.5 on here, but I mean, maybe I could go an 8. I don't know.
I don't know. I think I'd give it a 7.
So what do you
Kevin says he just can't decide what band he wants to be in. I don't know.
So
Webb says if Gary was a handsome fellow or had more alluring personality, he would have been bigger. That's our world. I don't know. Was that so big deal by this time? Well, MTV kind of changed that. Everybody had to be pretty. MTV ruined it because if you were ugly, they didn't want you. So that probably hurt Gary. Not that he was ugly. I'm not saying he was ugly, but he had the scarring from, And his material's all over the place. I can hardly wait till we talk Greg Lake. God, that'll be fun. Gary's West Coast Dave said Gary's a pretty decent singer as well, wasn't he? Yeah, I thought he was fine.
He can carry his own weight on vocals. He's fine. I don't know. He just felt like he needed somebody else up there with him, I think, for a while.
I think going with a 7 on this, I'm comfortable with going with a 7. I think it's okay. It's 7. It's 7.
Well, we're going to play one more track, actually, everybody. We're going to give you a little treat here because there's something else that Gary did at late 81.
You intro, and then I'll just go ahead.
I don't own this anymore. I really want to get it back again. I sold it years ago. I like this album. It's called Cozy Powell Tilt. And Jeff Beck plays on a couple tracks. Gary's on a couple tracks. The first side are all vocal tracks, which are pretty damn good. Elmer Gantry sings them. And the second side is all instrumental. The one is called Sunset. It's a slow ballad that Gary plays on. But we're going to play the Blister.
Let's do it.
Which is another Coliseum 2 type rockin' tune. So, Grant, if you got anything to say it.
I'm just going to play it. I think the music speaks louder than words. And if this is just going to tear your face off. All right. And I don't know how many people have heard all this Cozy Powell stuff. So we're just here to turn you on to stuff. Let's just play it. Let us know what you think. Here we go.
Don Airy on keyboards again. So.
Right. So Don's on it. Just take it in.
I didn't have you play that.
Wow. I kept thinking, when you're listening to him play that, so I thought he was just going to take right off into outer space. The whole band, you think that they're just going to just break apart, I'm not saying it's out of control. It's just, wow. I don't even know what to say about it. It's just awfully intense.
Yeah, there was no bass player on that. Don did like the,
was it just a 3-piece?
Yeah, Don handled the bass on it as well. But yeah,
Kevin needs a beer after. I understand. I feel like I need to have something to drink.
But yeah, what I had read was that Gary wanted to do a tour with him and Cozy and Don and Jack Bruce on bass. Man, that would have been a hell of a show to see. They were doing stuff like that all night. God.
I'd like to really go into this album and listen to it because a lot of guest stars. Of course, you've got Cozy on drums on the whole thing. Yeah. Gary Moore plays guitars on Sunset and The Blister, which he co-wrote with Don Airy. You've got Jeff Beck on Cat Moves and Hot Rock.
Yep.
Jack Bruce is playing bass on Cat Moves. Elmer Gantry, vocals on 3 tracks, and Bernie Martson, guitar on Living a Lie. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it's just...
Yeah, Elmer Gantry sang on a couple of Alan Parsons Project albums. He sings that song Psychobabble.
Okay.
And he sings a song on Turn Over Friendly Card. Maybe a Price to Pay, I think, is the track. It's a pretty good singer. So
there's a lot of energy here. I'd like to hear the Jeff Beck tracks.
He said, I used to own it. I need to get it again.
How were the Jeff Beck tracks?
Good. You'll find them on YouTube. There's no bad. They sound like Beck songs. They really do. I'm not sure. I can't remember who wrote them. Did it say who wrote those tracks he played on? Watch him be Max Middleton.
I'm looking. No, Jan Hammer wrote them.
Okay, well, there you go. So they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah. Because what year? This is 81, so what's the Jeff Beck album came out in 81? There and Back. Isn't that right? 81, There and Back? Okay, well, we're in that era.
That same time frame.
We're in that era. So anyway, I dig it. I want to hear the rest of it. So there you go. But for a drummer-led album, this is hot shit.
Yeah. He's got he released, I think, 4, maybe 3 or 4 other albums. I've got the next one too. We'll talk about that in an episode or two.
Yeah, because next month we're gonna do the Greg Lake albums.
The 2 studios and the live album. 3 albums.
Well, I need to listen to that live. There's just one live album, right?
Correct.
The King Biscuit. It's King Biscuit,
yes,
isn't
it's
it?
King Biscuit. Well, just the 3 albums, so we'll really dive into that quite a bit. I don't think he did a whole lot of other stuff in that period, so we won't be talking about much other stuff in that period.
Why are you doing a Gary Moore episode when I'm gone? I never know when you're going to ever pop in. The warehouse doesn't shut down. We just do what we do, Marlon, and whether you show up. What do you mean?
We were rocking, Marlon. Jesus.
We were rocking. Just saying. You missed this. You missed this. Yes, we were. You're right, Marlon. We were talking about how this is very Coliseum 2-like. Yes. Yeah, you're right.
This album is, like you said, it's 2 different albums.
Crazy, confused direction at this point. Quite like G-Force, man. Grinding Stone was crap.
Back on the Streets was kind of all over the place. It was. Yep.
Martin likes the bluesy stuff. Jeff Beck was the greatest for me. Saw him several times beyond words. That's all I can say. Just go and watch any of those later Jeff Beck where he's playing in concert. What's the female, that young bass player that he uses?
Walking Field.
She's incredible. That one live show where they were over in England and they show Jimmy Page is out in the audience watching Jeff play. Go check that out. What was that? 90 somewhere in early 2000s, maybe.
Ronnie Scott one.
Yeah, Ronnie Scott. Go check out any of that. Yes, Tal is absolutely wonderful. Okay, here we go. I'm afraid about putting any Martin's comments up. His death was one of those warnings to us at our age that we can't party as hard as we did in our 20s. Well, everything in moderation. Yeah, but Ronnie Scott, they put that out on DVD, and I think I've got the CD. It's a 2 CD set. Phenomenal. God, Jeff Beck was so good. And I've said it before. You show me another guitar player that improved over time. Jeff Beck constantly was tweaking and improving his technique. There was nobody like Jeff Beck. He always grew as a guitar player. He did not stagnate. I can't think of another example. Jeff Beck, Gary Moore, Jeff Beck, Eddie Van Halen. Yeah. Eddie Van Halen, though, what you heard in 1977 is what you got when he died. He had that one shtick. You listen to any of the Eddie Van Halen stuff when they're back in the clubs, he sounds like any other guy. I'm not trying to piss on Eddie Van Halen, may he rest in peace. But when he found that his tapping thing,
Yeah,
he was pretty ordinary before.
he was fully formed on his first album.
Yeah, he was done, fully formed, and then he did the same shtick over and over again. Don't burn a cross in my yard, but I think what Eddie Van Halen was to the music was a songwriter. You know, that's really where he really did shine. He did the same damn licks over and over again. What was it? I heard some kind of story that he was bitching about. It was a live show. God, where did I hear this? If I'm wrong, please tell me. But he was bitching at Michael Anthony because Eddie it was hard for him to play in a key all the time. And he was bitching at Michael Anthony or something about playing in the wrong key, in a key that he couldn't play in or something. Does that sound familiar to you? Because he would do his noodling thing, and who knows? I wouldn't know if he was in tune or not. Okay, here we go, Martin. Seriously, though, I don't like his bluesy stuff at all. I like the last phase of his career when he was like an energy-fused power trio, but in love with rock and roll. The blues, Thorogood. All right, there you go.
I meant to send that to Martin, not Marlon.
Gary Moore was only 58, heart attack in his sleep. Yeah, I don't know. He was a big drinker, though, wasn't he? I've heard that so many times. I actually think you do want somebody to burn a cross in your yard, but remember, it's a lighting. Mm-hmm. I don't really. Martin, scars. Well, anyway, there you go. We went over. We're 13 minutes over, kids. So many great players over the years, but there was only one Jeff Beck. 100% Ken White. See? Eddie Van Halen was so confident he just threw his hands all over the guitar and couldn't care about scales. Yeah, he was just noodling along. Who knows what key he was in? He just hoped that he landed correctly. First time, all right, hard rocking trivia show. First time seeing Gary Moore, Def Leppard, Crocus, and the Gary Moore and Gary Moore opening. Okay, at the Cap City in Maryland. Gary Moore got full lights and sound. He blew my mind. So he opened up for Def Leppard, Crocus. All right, that's all right. I think Eddie Van Halen was a great rhythm guitar player. Yeah. And I think that, and his sound, his tone was really good, but it was his songwriting, his rhythm guitar playing that I think people really should listen to. I think that's where he really shined. All these young guitar players got all dazzled from all the noodling, but I didn't know the joke. The KKK called that cross lightning to put a positive spin on it. Okay. Yeah, I'm very shallow. Anyway, Byron, do you have anything more to add?
No, I don't think I have anything. We'll do that next episode in a month or so.
All right. So next month we will be doing the Greg Lake album. So I don't know what other things BM would like to cover next month, but we will reconvene. So anyway, thanks everybody for coming in and listening to some tunage. If you are watching this show, I will pull the music out of it for the archival version. So it always pays you to, we need a date. Marlon needs a date. Martin will be busy that night. Sleep well, friends. All right. Marlon, when we get a date, I'll let you know. I'll send you a message. I spent a lot of time playing Van Halen guitar, and there's a lot of super no rules shit happening there. Yeah, I guess he would bitch at Michael Anthony because if he he could only do it in certain keys. And I don't know what he was doing, but he was playing in a key and he bitched at Michael Anthony that he couldn't play in that key. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do some research. Someone do some research and let me know in the comments. Did that really happen? Ladies and gentlemen, DC Tune Times here. You missed a lot of things, but he was out with the grandkids. DC, nice to see you. Yeah, the grandkids were playing hockey. Anyway, well, let's wrap this dog up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I've said that over and over again. Let's just do it. Byron, I'll be in contact. Thanks, everybody. Please leave a like, and we will see you next month. Oh, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Little known bands. Be here at 7 o'clock Eastern time, and we will be featuring some little known bands. So DC and I will be here. So tune in tomorrow. All right. See you, everybody.